Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie, and today I'm going to be going through all of these series that I need to finish. So I read a ton of series, but I like to break them up, read one a month, just so I don't get oversaturated, because I find if I do that, I get burnt out and that'll put me in a book slump. Every month I try and finish an entire series, and I switch off between a trilogy and a duology, and that's kind of how I've set that up. And I have books in between. My system's weird and very I'm not explaining it very well, but I have a list of books that are all completed series meaning 3 or more books, that I'm gonna go through that I just want to prioritize. And I want to finish the series because a lot of books, the second book has a huge cliffhanger, and I'm a big finale person, as I've said multiple times on this channel. But I'm always a little scared to go into a finale. But without further ado, the first series on this list is Aurora Rising by Kristoff and Amie Kaufman. This is a trilogy about this group of cadets who find this girl who has been in stasis for about 200 and some years. They find her, and when they find her, all hell breaks loose. They're trying to protect her. There's different races. There's a huge political system. There's this looming war from this warrior race that's going on. There's just so many intricate parts to this story, and I loved it. I love Amie Kaufman and Kristoff as a team. They write phenomenal sci-fi. I loved the Illuminae trilogy. I've read books 1 and 2, and I have book 3. But after book 2, I remember what happened at the end of book 2, and I remember throwing my book because I was so upset as to what happened. So I'm terrified, especially because the title is Aurora's End, and that makes me a little scared. So I'll eventually get to all of these, but I need Aurora and the entire gang. I need them to be okay, and they're probably not. So that's a whole thing. Up next, I have Sky Without Stars by Brody and Joanne Rendell. This is another sci-fi, but this is Les Mis in space. I've only read book 1, but I really liked book 1, and book 3, I think book 3 came out just a couple of months ago, so I can finally reread book 1 and then binge the rest of the series and be happy. But this one is a multiple POV. We've got our Jean Valjean, we have our Eponine, and I believe we also follow our Javert, are the 3 main perspectives. And I just love the story set in space because it adds other obstacles, as well as adds to the political system, as well as we're still having a revolution. Well, Les Mis is technically after the revolution, but we're still having that post-war kind of vibes and feeling in this book, but in space, and it's great. I enjoyed this. Next I have There Will Come a Darkness by Katy Rose Poole. This I've read books 1 and 2, and I really liked this series. This is a found family, random group of people have kind of come together and have accidentally started the end of the world. And now they're trying to fix it. But they caused it, which is an interesting twist on the group of heroes going to save the world. This is a group of heroes who were trying to go save the world, but ended up starting the apocalypse. And it was just so cool, and I love all the characters. This is very Six of Crows kind of vibes, found family, like I said earlier. Books 1 and 2 were really good. Book 2 didn't lag at all. If anything, I liked book 2 more than I liked book 1, because book 1 was a lot of setup. If you're going into this series, I would highly recommend just push through the first half of book 1. It's a lot of world building, and then the second half really picks up with our plot. So with book 2, you don't really have that. And that's what I'm super excited. Book 3 came out last fall, so I want to reread books 1 and 2. I am a rereader when a final book comes out. If I'm not reading it, if the entire series isn't out already, I will reread it just so I can kind of mentally get back into the world, fully understand the mechanics. Plus, I like rereading because then you pick up things that you didn't catch the first time around. Like, I'm really interested to see in the world building aspect what little hints and stuff that I missed. Up next, I have A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid Kemmerer. I've read books 1 and 2 of this series, and I really want to get to book 3, which actually this one is slated for me to finish in June. And that's perfect timing because that is right after the companion series for this drops. So I want to get back into this world, and then I want to jump right into her newest book, which is Forging Silver into Stars, I believe, which follows some side characters that are introduced in this series. So I want to be able to get that full circle moment, which I will get by rereading this. This one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but our main character, Harper, is yanked from our world into a fantasy world. Just yeeted. And I thought that was so unique, and I loved that aspect of the story. It was just super fun. Up next, I have A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. This is a French translated series, which just got released in English, I think last summer. So the series has been done in the original French for, I think, little over a year now, but it was finally available in English, I believe late last summer. So I read books 1 and 2 out of 4 for this series, where we're following a girl, Ophelia, who is sent off to a marriage on a different spire. Now, essentially, these spires are like different worlds. That's kind of how they feel. So she grew up in this very foresty, homey world spire, and then she's going to this very cold and desolate, highly political and very violent spire, and she just has no idea what to do with that. And her new husband is kind of a monster in a literal sense. The story is just so out there and so unique that I really enjoyed reading Ophelia's story. And she's a very meek main character, which is really different. And you see all these high, headstrong, strong, not that she isn't strong, but these headstrong, sarcastic main characters, and she is not that. She is very silent and meek, but extremely smart. Plus, there's a huge magic system where she's got 2 types of magic. She can see the history of any object she touches, and she can travel through mirrors, which are 2 really cool, different types of magic. And I'm really excited to finish this quartet and see the end of Ophelia and Wolf's story. Not Wolf, Thorn. Up next, I have The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. This is set in 1800s France. The second book is set in, I believe, Russia. I'm not sure where book 3 is. I've read books 1 and 2, and this is another found family kind of aspect, but they are treasure hunters and magic hunters, essentially. It is very Indiana Jones. There's a lot of puzzles, and there's even I wonder if I can find one quickly, where throughout the story you get these pictures, so you can actually solve the puzzles yourself, or you can wait for the characters to do it. I'm not great at puzzles, so I wait for the characters to do it. But this is, again, a multi-POV of just this wildly different crew who have found each other and support each other. They all play different parts within the treasure hunting. There's an archaeologist, there's the leader, there's a scientist, there's just so many characters within it, and they all meld and are woven together very seamlessly. So jumping between all their perspectives isn't at all jarring. I really like this. I think it's a really unique take on the Indiana Jones and the mystery aspect of stories, because it's almost interactive, and I really like that. So really excited to get to book 3 for this one, which I believe is The Bronze Beasts, which came out, I believe, in September. Up next, I have Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Ngan. The third book was pushed off a few times. I believe it was about 2 years between books 2 and 3. And I've read books 1 and 2, so I just got Girls of Fate and Fury. And this follows a girl who is essentially sold to the king as a paper girl, which are concubines, or his harem. It has that kind of aspect to it, and she is trying to escape. What's really cool is they're called paper girls because she is a part of the paper class as a human. Humans are the lowest of the low, and there are demons as the highest rank, and it's really interesting to see that kind of dichotomy. since in a lot of books we have where, you know, humans are the ones causing all the issues and are the highest ranks and are pushing all the like magical people down. So this one kind of takes that aspect of fantasy stories and flips it on its head, where the humans are the oppressed and not the magical creatures. And I really like it. It's book 2 definitely had second book syndrome a little bit and was extremely predictable, but I really like this world and this story, so I am hoping that the finale is really good. Up next I have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This finale, I believe actually came out a year or so ago, or it was last year. I don't really remember, but I've read books 1 and 2, and this is an adult book that is highly violent, deals with a lot of issues. Definitely check trigger warnings for this one because this book gets so dark so fast. But we're following a girl who is trying to train to be a general, and she gets into this military academy after taking this very prestigious test, and everyone's really shocked that she was able to get into the academy because of where she came from. And then this huge war breaks out and all hell breaks loose. And books 1 and 2 are so amazing emotionally, and they're so good. They're just amazing books. And I'm really excited to see where the finale goes because our main character, who is definitely the definition of morally gray, has a lot of issues going on, and I'm really curious as to how it's all gonna wrap up. Next, I have A Crown of Feathers by Nicki Preto. This is a story about phoenix riders. They have gone extinct, but these 2 sisters end up finding a phoenix egg and are able to hatch it and are now on the run. And then we have this secret sect of phoenix riders who are trying to take back their land because the phoenixes went extinct because of conquerors. And I really like this. I've only read book 1. Books 2 and 3 are out. So this is on the docket for April for me to finish the series. So really excited to jump back into this world. I remember loving it. This was actually my very first Owl Crate book. And I actually have the entire Owl Crate editions for these books because that's who I am as a person. I like my editions to match. Really excited to jump back into this world. I remember a lot of the twists and turns were so cool and out of nowhere. So I'm excited to just jump back into phoenixes. I feel like that phoenixes are not used enough in fantasy novels. Same with dragons. I feel like dragons are going away, and I want them to come back. The final book that I have that I really want to finish is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I've read 3 out of the 4 books. I'm terrified to read book 4 because I've heard it rips your heart out. Book 3 already ripped my heart out. So really terrified. This is a Roman-inspired story where it kind of follows the fall of Rome, and with a magical element and everything. I love these characters. These characters are fantastic. And the sole reason I read these books, they're amazing, dynamic. They have fantastic chemistry on the page. And I know this is a super well-loved series, and I do too. I love this series. I just need to finish it. And I don't know when I'm gonna finish this series, but I want to. So these are the series that I have the highest priority. These aren't including any of the duologies that I have, which I have a lot of duologies. I may do a totally separate video of duologies that I want to finish, but for now, these are all the series that I really want to finish. And I should be getting to a good chunk of them soon-ish. We'll see. I may do this video next year just to compare, something like that. I don't know yet, but either way, that's going to be it for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, with the occasional Sunday. Let me know down below what are some series you really want to finish or prioritize, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye!